All right, hello everybody. Thanks for joining. My name's Iman McMurray, but before we get into the presentation, let me just say that we're using a webinar platform that we don't commonly use today. And we've had some pretty bad experiences with it where it's not very stable. And so if you're going through the presentation and the screen kind of goes black on you, just refresh the page. That should fix it. And I'm sorry for any frustration this experience may cause. If you end up having just too many problems, please don't stress out about it. Just as much as I hate to say it, just end watching the webinar and catch the recording later if that's going to be really challenging. But we've spent a bunch of time tweaking everything. You shouldn't have any problems, but I do just want to let you know that we're aware of it, we're listening to you, and next month we should be not using this platform for most webinars. So, all right, that's kind of the end of the little soliloquy there, the little safety message, and now I'm going to officially kind of kick off the webinar. So the recording is going to start from here. Here we go. Hi everybody, my name is Iman McMurray. I'm a Master Solution Engineer here at Salesforce, and today I got a really good one for you. We're going to talk about field service lightning. So first and foremost though, let me just say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being customers. Thanks for taking time out of your day to learn a little bit more about Salesforce. I appreciate your time. I respect your time, and I really want to make this a good use of your time. So speaking of our time together, how are we going to spend it? I'm going to explain field service. I figure you're here because you don't know what it is. So I'm going to tell you what it is and what it does. Then I'm going to do a demo, the whole thing. We're just going to do a whole demo of it. You're going to see it. I hope you like it. And then you are going to get a chance to play with all of it. You want to be the dispatcher? You can be the dispatcher. You want to be the field tech? You can be the field tech. My demo is Sue demo, and you get to play with it as well. And then at the bottom of the hour, assuming I end this thing right on time, Q&A. But you know, softball's preferred. All right, now this webinar platform is a little bit weird and not many people are used to it, but you'll see me floating in this box, this presentation box. Go ahead and click that full screen icon that I've got the arrow on. That'll take my video and make it full screen. When I get to the parts of the demo with text, you're definitely going to want to do that. Otherwise, it's just going to be really hard to read. Anytime you got a question, put it in the question section. We'll do our best to answer it. And then a lot of the links that I'm going to mention today in the presentation are available in the resource section. You can even download this handout, this presentation right now from the sidebar. And if you don't see it there, if it's somehow missing, refresh your page. It should populate. All right, and some tips for a good time. Please don't try to write everything down. This thing's being recorded and you'll get an automated email to the recording tomorrow. All I ask is just please fill out a survey. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if it was a good use of your time. Just let me know how I can do things better or different. And last, definitely not least, I gotta sit through this presentation. So can we try to have a good time? All right. So field service lightning. Iman, what is it? Why do I care about it? How does it help me? All right, well, let's just start with some context. Customers want a good experience. If something's broken, you're already not having a great day, and then you need someone to schedule something to come out and fix it. You want that experience to be as smooth as possible. You want the company that's helping you to have all their ducks in a row, to know what you're talking about. So, and a good experience is very important. I think you as a person feel that way when it comes to the service you receive. But I've talked to a lot of customers that they don't have a great process in place to manage this whole field technician, scheduling someone to get out there. It's all manual. It's in a file, like literally a piece of paper on someone's desk. Or there's a whiteboard. Everyone's got that whiteboard. Or the whiteboard with the grid of names and where they're going. And that works when you're a relatively small business and there's like 3 of you. But as your business gets more complex, as there's just more things to do, paper and whiteboards are not the way that you're going to scale, automate, keep the whole team in the loop, let your people in the field know what's going on. I mean, unless I'm in your office staring at the whiteboard, that doesn't help me, right? And so this is the problem Salesforce wants to help you solve with field service lightning. We want your customers to have a good idea of what's going on, what they can expect, and more or less help themselves. We want your field technicians to see everything. What's the situation? What do I need to do? Where am I going? What do I need to bring with me? And be able to do their jobs while they're out there. And then we want the person in the office being able to dispatch and schedule and just have a full understanding of where the resources are and what work needs to be done. All right. So when we talk about field service, there's basically three sections of this product we're going to talk about. There's mobile workers, there's the field service operations folks, and then there's your customers. All right. So for your mobile workers, we're going to talk about the mobile app. They basically have a field service app, and it knows where they are. It knows where they need to go, helps them with driving directions. You'll see the whole demo, but the idea here is that we're giving your field technicians or people in the service crew something that they can use to be fully plugged in while they're on the road. All right, and then for those of you working in the office, we're going to use Salesforce's console view for you to be able to see what issues are coming up, what work orders need to be done, where are the appointments, and then actually schedule things not just manually and by guesswork, but how do we use optimization engines? How do we use driving times? How do we use traffic information to make the right schedule happen? Okay, and then for customers, we're going to talk about all the options they have to self-service, whether that means schedule the appointment themselves, change the appointment time, do all these things online or through different channels. That's what we're going to talk about. So those are really the high-level overviews of what field service wants to help you with. Very tactically, though, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of what it does, and then you're going to see the demo. So this is the dispatcher console. This is the Gantt chart, okay? And so when something pops up, this is where your team is going to be able to see, where are my resources? Who's got a day off? How long is it going to take for them to drive from this place to that place? And based on these rules that we put into Salesforce, the actual optimization engine can make sure that we're minimizing drive time, minimizing overtime, and getting your customer service as quickly as possible. And when I say optimization engine, I really do mean optimization, all right? So it's not just scheduling, all right? So let's say you've got a bunch of employees. What it'll do is use all these rules that you've put into place to figure out, okay, what kind of employee can do that kind of job, right? Oh, you need Crystal for that kind of job. She has the right skills. She has the right tools. She's in the area. And maybe there's 5, 6 other people. What it'll then do is it'll actually try the schedules with all these different variations of people to figure out which one is the optimal person to schedule. And all that's based on these rules you put into place. And I'll show you in a bit. But this is a much better way to schedule resources. Just have the cloud do it for you and make sure the right person shows up at the right time, minimal driving, minimal overtime. All right, now work orders are going to be a new part of Salesforce with field service. So you'll have work orders. This is the thing people need to solve. This is the reason we're scheduling appointments. All right, so there's a work order and we'll be able to track it and track changes to it. But you've got work orders in Salesforce. And you'll have service contracts in Salesforce. So did this customer pay for Premier support? Is there a maintenance agreement? Do we promise to have someone on site within 24 hours of an issue? So you can actually track your level of service agreements with your customers. And you can even have entitlements. So if you really want to have time-based rules that you need to follow to enforce, if there's a problem, we will have someone on site within 24 hours. We will have the issue resolved within 2 weeks, right? If you have these rules with your customers, we can put those into Salesforce and even automate around those rules, right? And then just parts, pieces, stuff, right? If you're going out there to replace something, you probably need items for that. You probably need the replacement part. Maybe you need a cable. Maybe you need a special tool or a special, item. So not only can we help you track what you need to take with you, we can track where they all are. Is it in a warehouse? Do I need to make sure it gets to my van before I go to that customer site? So inventory management is a very rich, very deep, I don't want to say problem, area of a topic. And so this is not something I'm going to go super deep in the demo, but you should know it's there. And when your techs are on site, they can scan a barcode and we can get the, let's say, serial number of that item. So we make it really easy for you to keep track of where items are and what items you'll need, and also what items do your customers own, right? Have they had this piece installed? How long has it been installed? What's the service maintenance on this item? So inventory and asset management, right? And you can even schedule preventative maintenance. So they've got this thing, and every 3 months you got to go out there and jiggle the cables. I don't know, fix it, look at it, service it. So you can actually create a maintenance program. So this customer every month for a year, we'll get an automated scheduled service appointment, right? And we can determine who needs to go out, what kind of work needs to be done, and it's just fire and forget. It just shows up on the schedule. And it's Salesforce. This is Salesforce. So yes, we're going to talk about field service, but just think bigger picture here. You can integrate Salesforce to all your other systems. So whether it's SAP or QuickBooks or Mass, whatever you're using these other systems for, we can integrate it into Salesforce, update records there, pull information from there. All right. And all of these things we talked about are records. Maintenance schedules, that's a record. What product is in the warehouse and where does it need to go? Those are records. Everything's a record. And so we can automate all this stuff. You can automate a lot of this stuff. So when a particular service appointment is created based on the product you're servicing, based on the type of thing you're servicing, create these steps, bring these items. You can automate pretty much the entire process if you want to. And because they're all records, you can report on them. So you can start getting reports and dashboards on average drive time. How many appointments does it take to resolve an issue? How much overtime do we have? Basically, if it's something we're tracking, you can report on it. All right? And this is a quick overview of the mobile app. So there really is a field service mobile app. And I'm going to show this to you in a second. But the idea here is that it knows where you are because, there's a GPS on your phone. So where are you? Where do you need to go? How long till you get there? Do you need to call the customer? Do you need to email them? Do you need to say you're running late? There's a lot of little options there. And then when you're all done with the job, you can even hand it over to the customer. They can scribble their initial on it. You can get the signature and move on. All right? And for the customer, we want them to self-service. I want the customer to solve their own problem. So if they go to your community, they can ask a question, maybe just solve it. Maybe they log into the portal and now they can see their orders, their service appointments. Okay, so we want to make it easy for people to self-service. And a big part of this is various channels like chat, SMS, WhatsApp. You can actually have people just schedule appointments through those channels and they don't even need to talk to a person. You can have a chat bot answering those conversations. And so a chat bot could reschedule an appointment, cancel an appointment, create an appointment. So you don't even need a person involved if you don't want, okay? But it's just a great way to give your customer service wherever they prefer it. All right? So that's high level. What's field service? What does it do? Why? What are the things it does? Very specifically though, this is how it works. A customer has a problem and they let you know about it. Whether it's chat, SMS, log a ticket, send an email, you find out about it. Somehow you determine we need to send someone on site to fix this. So you create a work order. That work order then needs an appointment, a service appointment for someone to go out there and do the thing you're ordering them to work on. So then the dispatcher gets involved and finds the right time to schedule that appointment. And then now that appointment is scheduled to your technician and your technician gets in their truck or their van and goes out there and does the job. Okay, so that's generally the high-level process. So when you think about field service, there's a whole setup guide you go through because there's lots of things you set up. Like what territories do we support? What hours of the day do we work? And what's a ideal time? What's considered overtime? What's considered not unless it's a super emergency? So you can schedule these times and decide what appointment slots are available. Are your appointment slots 2 hours wide, 1 hour wide, no appointments on Tuesdays? You come up with whatever schedule makes sense for you and your territories. And then this is the how you decide what your optimization engine prioritizes. It's something called a scheduling policy. It's how you want to schedule stuff. So you can tell it, it's more important to me that we get the right person with the right skill out there, and then we minimize overtime. Okay, and getting someone out there fast, not as important as minimizing overtime and the right person for the job. So you can kind of change your prioritization of policies that you care about, and this is what the optimization engine uses to figure out who to schedule things for. And then you create work types. So what are people doing? Are they repairing stuff, swapping stuff, doing an inspection? Depending on that type of work, you have a rough estimate of how long it'll take. You have an idea of what skills it'll take. You have an idea of what products or items they'll need to take with them, and even knowledge articles that tech should have when they're handy when they go out there. If they're replacing a water tank, put all the water tank knowledge articles there so it's handy. Okay, and then you have maintenance plans, and those are just records. This is just a record of a maintenance plan. Starts on a certain day, ends on a certain day, and how frequently, how often do we generate work? Okay, and really, when you think about it, service appointments and work orders are how this all works. A work order has many line items because these are the things I need to do for the work order. And you can have one service appointment that handles the whole work order, or you can have many service appointments that handle each step in the work order. So there's lots of ways to configure how many people come out. Do they come out back to back? Who comes out first? But it's all around the work order, the individual line items of the work order, and then scheduling people to get out there with appointments. All right, so remember, this is the flow we're about to go through in the demo. Someone's got a problem, we find out about it. Oh no, we got to create a work order and schedule someone out there to fix it. That person goes out there and fixes it. That's what we're going to do, all right? And I just want you to keep these metrics in mind. Most field service organizations try to think about these kinds of metrics, right? So how often do we fix it the first time? How often do we think we fixed it and then we got to go back out, right? We want to reduce or want to maximize the number of first-time fixes, okay? How long does it take to even solve the problem between knowing about it and solving it? We want to shorten that up for you, right? Get the right person out there, fix it the first time efficiently. And then, wrench time, right? How much time are they actually spending doing work? And if we can help you show up with the right tools and give you the articles and give you the steps, maybe we speed that up for you, right? And then because we're using an optimization engine and it's minimizing wasted driving time, windshield time, and it's minimizing, gaps in your schedule, you're going to get more utilization out of your techs. All right, so let's do the demo. So here I am in Salesforce, and I'm a support agent, okay? But let's go ahead and create the issue. Now, in this case, I'm going to have a customer go to my community. So I've got my own self-service community, and my customer can go there. They could chat with me. They could just fill out a form. So maybe Rachel Harris has an issue. Something broke. Okay? Oh no, I need it repaired. or whatever her problem is. Okay? So you can submit a ticket. You can chat with somebody. In this case, I've got a different environment up. This is not part of the demo you'll get to play with, but you should see it. In this case, a customer can book their own appointment. So she's logged in, she clicks book appointment, and maybe she just creates a new appointment. Right? And so in this case, you're letting the customer decide, oh, I think I need the battery replacement. Battery replacement needed. Next. And then, all right, this is going to look at what time do we have available based on where and what day the service appointment works for you. And then this will come back with a list of options. So you can have customers self-service themselves if you want. We can skip the whole person getting involved, creating the work order. We can skip all that. But I'm gonna walk through that process with you. So here we go. So I'm a regular service agent, and a support ticket was just launched by one of my customers. So I'm going to go to my cases, and I've got a lot of cases, but here's Rachel's support ticket. So let's open this up. All right, so here is the support ticket. Something's broken, and I see who it is. It's Rachel at Ohana Inc. Here's her phone number. Here's her email. I can just reach out to her right now if we wanted to. And let's say I'm talking to her and I find out, oh, this is about product ABC. Product A is broken. That's what's broken. Oh no, we need to fix it. All right. We tried everything we can, turn it off, turn it on. All right, we'll send someone out there. So now I'm going to create a work order. All right, and we can default, what territory this work order is assigned to, what time of day it's assigned, all those things. But here I'm just going to say fix product. We got to send someone out there to fix the product. For Rachel, for that issue, and here's our work order 108. All right, so I've got this work order. Now, if you notice, I'll zoom in a little bit, and we can see the work order, medium priority. It's new. Nothing's happened on the work order yet. What are we doing? Where are we doing it? Okay, let's book an appointment. So I click book appointment, and now we get this little scheduling wizard here, okay? And I can create a new appointment. So let's create a new one, and it knows where that account is. It knows where that item is, so it just defaults the address. So I'm going to get appointment. And now it's looking through, all right, what kind of work is it? What needs to be done? Let me find all the available options, and then let me grade them for you. So these are some ideal slots. Thursday, 3 to 5. Let me click on why is this ideal? Well, they get their preferred service resource. They always want to see Iman out there. Same person, consistency helps. And you know what? It's the third slot available. It's as soon as we can get it out there, it's pretty good, and it's the right person, right? And you could schedule other jobs. You could keep looking at other times, but they're not as good. So let's pick Thursday, 3 to 5. So somewhere between 3 to 5 on Thursday, Iman's going to show up and fix this thing, okay? And we could be done right there. But in this case, I want to show you what it can look like when it's a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to book, let's say, 2 appointments, all right? Now, I could just modify the appointment we just created, but I'm just going to create another one too. Now, you could, let's say this goes somewhere else. This is 1, 2, 5, sure. That's where this one is. So you could have logged another case, created another work order, and assigned a service appointment to that, but you don't need to see me do it twice. So I'm essentially going to just log a couple appointments. All right, so now notice my Thursday 3 to 5 slot is gone. It's gone. So we could do Thursday sometime between 11 and 1 Pacific, or Friday 9 to 11. Let's do Thursday 11 to 1. All right, so I've just scheduled 2 appointments. So those appointments are out there, they're on the calendar, and if now I switch hats a little bit and I'm the dispatcher, we're going to look at the Gantt chart. We're going to see what this schedule looks like. All right, so here I am in my own one-man territory, one-person territory, and this is my service tech, and here are the 2 appointments from 11 to 1 and 3 to 5 or something like that. That's the scheduled appointment. And let me just show you very quickly. In the real world, your Gantt chart will look like this. You'll have a bunch of people, various territories. Here's my San Francisco team. Here's my LA team, right? So you would realistically have many, many, many scheduled appointments, things going on, different statuses. But in this demo that you're all going to get to play with, it's just you in your own territory, okay? So that's you. But let's say something happened. Oh no, it got delayed. It got pushed back. Traffic. These things are now overlapping. We can't make it to 2 of these appointments at once. Notice now that when I made them overlap, there's this little warning. Oh no, that's a problem, right? So you can use the optimization engine. I can just say fix overlaps. And what this will do is it'll use the engine to actually go in there and, I don't think I clicked it, fix overlaps. There we go. So what this will do is it'll use the engine with those policies that we configured. And what it's going to do now is unschedule these items, move them around wherever it thinks is ideal, and basically reschedule them for me pretty much immediately. Okay? And so if you notice now, they just got moved. They're not overlapping anymore, and we're good. So that's one way to do it, right? But these were already scheduled. What if these weren't scheduled at all? So I'm going to unschedule them. They're completely unscheduled now. All right? So now no one's assigned. They're not on the chart. They're not on the books. An appointment needs to be scheduled, right? How do we do it? How could you do it? You could just click schedule, and it'll schedule both. Or you could click on one. You could schedule the one. Or you could just say, find all the candidates. Show me all the potential candidates for this job. And so now it's showing you that you could do it or other people could do it. And it's showing you the score for that time frame. And this is all based on your policies that you set. So really, it looks like it should be scheduled to Iman, and it's a second priority if we give it to somebody else. All right. So lots of options on how you schedule things, whether you specifically manually decide who gets it, or you just check the box and go, Salesforce, take the wheel. And I'm just going to click schedule, and you'll see down here for a second that it is scheduling both appointments. Okay. And again, they're back on this person's calendar, ready to go. All right. So now, let me go back to that Gantt chart for you real fast. So if this were you, you would be able to see everything on a map. You'd be able to see where people are going, where are my resources, where are my territories set up. So all of those would be things that you could view from a map standpoint or a Gantt chart standpoint. In this case, we only have 2 things on the map. We got this item right here, and we got this other one down here. And again, I could reschedule it from here if I wanted to. I could look into it from here. Or I can even look at this one resource throughout the day. So I want to see what Iman's up to. How much time is he scheduled to work? How much time is he going to be driving? How many appointments might he miss? Okay. So from here, you can even see Iman's schedule. He's going to start here, then he's going to go there, and then he's going to go the other place. So you can get a person's view over time, or the whole team, or the whole region. But either way, you got it scheduled, and you got it scheduled for the right person. All right. So now, if you notice, my phone had a bunch of field service notifications. Things were scheduled, unscheduled, moved around. I'm being notified. So let's go ahead and open up the field service app. So I'm a tech. There are my 2 appointments. There they are, 11 to 1:30 and 3 to 5. Okay. And now let me go ahead and look at this 3 to 5 one. Now, I can click those little 3 dots on the side there, and I could call the person. I could email them. I can even email my ETA. So I can click that ETA button. It goes, hey, Rachel, I'm about 20 minutes away. We'll see you soon. Okay. So it makes your life easy as a tech. You don't have to write all these things out, and you can give really good experience to a customer very easily. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the appointment. Here's the appointment. Here's everything I need to see about the appointment. I can just click on details at the top and see the work order itself, see all the related records, what we need to do, all the appointments scheduled for this work order. Okay. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I can get driving directions in your app of choice. All right. I can see the contact information and call them or email them or send a text. If that product had other work orders happening beforehand or service history, we would see all the appointments that came out and what people did. And then, all right, here's what we got to do. We got to fix the thing. So step 1, disconnect the cable. All right, so you can go in there and, again, read notes if you want, or you can just mark it complete, and that one's done. I'm going to go back, and we're going to mark the second thing complete. Okay, all right, I'm getting through the work, right? And let's just finish it up, just say the third thing's done as well. So I'm on site. I have the steps I need to follow. I know what I need to do. I can see the history of everything else that's happened here. And now, let's say I need to log some notes. You could just type stuff in here if you want, okay? Or you can use your camera. And so here I've got a barcode reader. And so notice this thing can actually read the barcode and actually insert the value from that barcode into the app. So if you had a barcode on a device, that's actually what my barcode says. But if you had a barcode on the device, you could just scan the barcode and that would go into the serial number or what item was replaced. You don't need to type all that stuff down, which makes it really nice. All right, so we follow all the steps and now we create the service report, right? And you can define what your service report looks like. If you notice, there are notes on the report, but really I'm creating a PDF and I can get a signature, right? So I'm going to generate the PDF. And who's going to sign it? In this case, Rachel is signing it, and we hand it over, and Rachel scribbles, that's her signature, and we hit save, and we generate the report, right? And now that we've generated the report, we can change the status of our appointment. We can actually just say, you know what? Appointment is now done. I mean, I could have updated it in the middle as well, but now we're done. And if I catch it back real fast, look, give this a second or two, and you'll see the status refresh here on the dispatcher console. There you go, it turned green. You see that? So I changed it on the mobile app, sent the signal back to home base, dispatcher saw it, that job's done, we don't have to worry about it anymore. All right, so that's kind of field service at a high level. And then let's say you're done for the week, you're done for the month. You as the admin or the service manager, you can go to a dashboard, and I'm just going to let this load here, but you can go to a dashboard and actually see all of your metrics around how many work orders did we have, what was our first time fix rate, right? How long were we out there? How long was the average travel? Which accounts are taking up a ton of our time, right? So it's all just records, and you can slice and dice it and view it by territory, by person, by customer, by product, you name it. All right, so, 1 minute to go. I'm kind of happy. All right. Did I lose my clicker? Okay, here we go. So, if you want to play with that demo where you can create a case, create a work order, schedule the appointment, play with the Gantt chart, have it show up on your phone, and then work with the appointment on your phone, you're welcome to. Go to salesforce.com/EDO, sign up, and you'll get a new demo username and password. You'll be a tech in my Iman's demo environment. You're not an admin, but you basically play the roles you just saw me play. And you'll want to install the field service mobile app on your phone. So install the mobile app, use the same login on the mobile app, and this should all just be a nice little experience for you. If you need help setting any of this stuff up, there is no shame in it. This is a fairly complex product. It can do a lot of things, and you might need help. There's a partner, Wiser Spread, giving you all 2 hours of free consulting just for saying Iman sent me. So reach out to them, let them know I sent you, get some help. You're welcome to work with other partners as well, but these guys I've been working with for a while, and you get 2 hours of free consulting. Now, I know what you're going to ask. Iman, what license do I need? How much are the licenses? Which exact license should I get? There's so many options. There's a data sheet right there. Please click that link and just go look at all the various options. And depending on what edition you have, what licenses you already have, different combos make sense for different people. Are you the dispatcher, or do you have a contractor who's not even one of your employees being the dispatcher? Are you dispatching to individual resources or to a crew of people? Should your customer be able to schedule it themselves or not? So there's lots of variation here, and I don't think I can address all those license comparison questions. So check out that doc and just talk to your rep if you have a question about it. Also, if you want to learn field service, go to that Trailhead link. There's like a 3-4 part lessons there, or trails there, and it'll show you how to set it up, what the basics are. You'll definitely have a better understanding of the moving parts by going through that trail. And then if you have a specific field service question, you've been doing this for a while, or you're just setting it up and you've got a very nitpicky technical question, go to that field service questions group. There's a Salesforce community group for field service. Our experts monitor it. Please go there, ask your question there, and someone will help you, all right? Or at least search for the question. Chances are somebody else already has. And also, if you just want the official documentation on really all the features, how's it work, there's the link to that as well. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, good, you got good taste. And we're doing another one on Tuesday. Every Tuesday and Thursday, it's Crystal and I. On Tuesday, it's going to be PAR-DOT. We're going to introduce PAR-DOT. What is it? How does your marketing team work more effectively with your sales team? How do you help save your sales team's time by only having them reach out to people at the right time who are actually kind of qualified or pre-qualified? So we're going to get into that. And then Thursday, you all just ask me questions for an hour. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a deep breath. Crystal, there are no questions, right? No questions?
We got questions.
Okay, all right. Throw them at me.
All right. Okay, first up is Satish. He's asking, so as you think about kind of creating and maintaining and managing field service lightning, would that come under a Salesforce admin type role or a developer role, or how do we think about that?
Well, field service lightning is its own app on top of Salesforce. So you've got Salesforce, and then you install field service lightning into Salesforce. And it has a lot of rules around it, right? What's your scheduling policy? What's your work type? What kind of work orders? What are the fields? So to manipulate it, to make any changes at all, it's Salesforce administrative changes. It's page layouts. It's process builder rules. It's flows. So it's mostly Salesforce administration. But field service has a lot of very specific configuration options that aren't just Salesforce stuff. So if you're just a regular sales admin, you're going to need to learn, not to say regular, but if you haven't worked with field service before, you're going to need to learn what field service is, what the options are, what that lever does, what that toggle does. There's a lot of new toggles that'll show up. So an admin could definitely still help you administer field service. I don't think you necessarily need a developer. I don't think you need a developer. Now, that being said, it depends on the experience you want to build. If you want to build a very advanced experience that's somehow more or different than this, okay, then maybe you need a developer resource. Maybe you need someone who's got that expertise. But I would say if you're implementing, start with a partner, work with a partner to help you implement. There's so many options. Unless you have time to read the documentation, understand the documentation, you're not going to get get the most out of your implementation if you just kind of willy-nilly throw it at someone who's never seen it before, doesn't do it for a living. So, have someone who's done it before set it up for you. Once it's set up, I don't know, at that point I'd say train the trainer, right? Like show the admin what it's all about, and if they feel good taking over, great. You want to add a new work type? Create the work type record, fill out some fields, and you're done. So I'd leave it up to you after it's implemented, but I would not expect most of you as regular sales or service admins to go through the implementation on your own without help. But also, no, you don't need a developer to help you. I don't think so.
All right, sounds good. All right, this one's from Kevin. So he's asking, how can we change the default service appointment duration from, say, 2 hours to an hour?
I had this problem for this demo. All right, good. You asked the right guy. Okay, so there's literally a checkbox in the service appointment settings that says enable default service appointment length to 1 hour. And then no matter what, it's just an hour. So uncheck that box. All right, so now you've unchecked the box, but now how long is it? So work orders have I'll just show you. Let's just show you. So here I am in my work order, okay? This work order is tied to a work type, this product repair. This work type record determines what skills are involved, what products are required, who can do the work, and one of the fields is how long is the work, okay? So in my demo, the way I've set this up is when you create a work order, the work order looks at the work type, and it sees the duration. And the work order itself has a duration field. I've hidden it off the page. You don't see it, but when this record's created, it figures out what kind of work needs to be done. It takes the estimated duration and says, okay, this work order for 2 hours of work. And then when the service appointment's created, the service appointment knows that it's tied to this work order, and it will inherit the 2 hours off of this work order. So I turned off the checkbox that just defaults everything to 1 hour. And then I created one process builder rule, one automation rule that copies the default duration from the type of work you're doing and puts it in the duration field on the work order, and that automatically goes to the appointment. That's how it works.
Nice. All right. Okay, next up is Mike. He's saying, can you give a quick example of a work order and a work order line item?
Oh, yeah, all right.
And what the differences of that would be?
Sure. So let's just think about it for a second. A work order is the task that needs to be accomplished, okay? And a service appointment is one appointment making an effort to accomplish that overall task. So let's say we're going to install an MRI machine at a hospital. That does not take one person, one trip, one day, and you're done. So the work order would be set up MRI machine at UCSF Benioff Hospital, all right? Well, the work order line items are going to be all the steps we need to take to solve the work order. So let's get the room ready, level the I don't know anything about MRI machines, but do things to get it ready. Put the machine in there, connect it, all those things. Now, each of those work order line items is basically its own work order. It can be its own work order. And that work order line item can then have more line items. And so they can be very deep steps if you need them to be. This would really only come up if you required very special resources or tools and you needed to differentiate that, okay? But an idea here is the work order, set up the MRI machine at the hospital, please. All right, well, it's going to take 3 steps or 15 steps. And then you as a company can decide, will one service appointment solve the whole work order? Do we need one appointment for work order line item 1 and another one for the other one? So it just gives you more, a finer grain resolution in terms of what needs to be done and how we're going to schedule appointments there. A work order can have 1 appointment, or a work order can have 50 appointments to get it done. And the same thing with a line item. A line item can be accomplished with 1 appointment or 1,000 appointments. Hopefully not 1,000, but many appointments. So that's kind of the idea of it. The service appointment represents that specific person showing up at that time to accomplish a task. And that task could just be one line item on a work order, or it could be fix the whole thing. I hope that answered your question, but the work order represents the real problem, the project that needs to be completed, and the appointment is who is going there at that time to do it.
Perfect. All right. Okay, so video is asking a question. Can I assign a technician at the work order line item level?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
So you can have different technicians on different line items. You can assign different technicians to the same line item. But yeah, I mean, I have one work order. You're looking at one work order right now that has 2 different appointments scheduled to it. And these 2 appointments could have been for different people if it required different work or something. But yeah, you can do that. There's a concept of crews and let's call it complex work. So a crew, I can just schedule it for Crystal's team. And Crystal's got a team of 8 people, and they all roll together, and in the morning they all meet at the warehouse, talk about what they're going to do, and they all go do all the jobs together. So I could do a crew resource, or I could go, oh man, Crystal's the surveyor, Iman's the inspector, Armando's the, I don't know, other person. Anyways, so you could have work items broken up by individual people, or you could just go, we're going to assign this to Crystal's team. She's got everybody. We're good. So yeah, lots of options.
Great. Okay. Mike has another question here. He's asking, can customers book an appointment by themselves on the community page?
Yes, and I kind of thought I showed that a little bit here. So here's a customer on a community page running through a flow where she creates her own appointments. And maybe, maybe you don't want to let her create an appointment. She could modify an existing appointment. So, let me leave the page. So when they go to the book appointment wizard, they can create a new appointment or modify an existing appointment. And you can allow customers to have different windows of time where they can book certain types of work where it's kind of pre-approved for them to do that, right? So you can define that, yes. And you don't even need a button. This could have happened through a chat bot. She could have SMS'd me and a chat bot could have responded with the 3 options, and she could have picked one and that appointment would have happened as well.
All right, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How many administrators this one's from Sarah. So she's asking kind of where would she go for next step details for field service lightning? And then her second question is, how many administrators are allowed per company?
You can make everybody an administrator. It's not a great idea, but it's up to you to decide. Administrators are permissions you give people, right? And you give an admin pretty much all the permissions. I don't recommend giving everybody all the permissions. It's kind of a recipe for disaster, really. But you could. We don't impose a weird limit like, haha, you got your 3 admins, no more. If you're a big company and there's a bunch of you, have a bunch of admins, and maybe divvy up what you work on. If there's just 5 of you in the whole company, maybe one of you is the admin. I don't like the idea of everybody being admin because someone's going to make a change and the other people are out of the loop, and that's not great. So for just control purposes, limit the number of admins, but no technical limitation. Where should you go afterwards? I have a link to all the resources I think you would find helpful here. So go to Trailhead. If you want to learn about it, go to Trailhead and walk through the tutorials, basically. If you want to find out about pricing and how it would work in your environment and maybe what an implementation would look like, I'd reach out to your account team and maybe get introduced to a Salesforce partner if you don't already have one that you work with. But those would be my next steps. I mean, I don't know what you want to get out of your next steps. If you want to learn more, we've got a bunch of resources to learn more. If you want pricing, there's prices for pricing. Otherwise, be more specific, and I'm happy to guide you. But these links, I think, are generally good next steps.
Nice. All right. Deepesh is asking a question. He's asking, how do I assign a schedule appointment to a crew using a queue or some kind of public group? Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So when you think about who we're assigning stuff to, we're assigning it to a resource. So this field service user is a service resource, and this resource is a technician. Okay. Notice they're not a special drill or a crane or something, but they could have been. So when you create field service resources, you can determine, is this resource a crew? Are they a dispatcher? Are they a field tech? Are they an agent in the office? Is it a thing? Is it a thing we need to move around with us, right? Like maybe you've got a very special tool or item, and your teams kind of need to share who can use it and where. You can make it an asset, and that asset could be scheduled as well. But no, you don't assign it to a queue or anything. You just create a resource, and that resource is of type crew, and then it becomes a crew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back, so Srividya has another question here. Getting back to, he was asking a little bit about, can I assign technician at the work order line item level? Mm-hmm. Follow up here, if I have 2 techs assigned to the same work order, will I have 2 service reports, or is there a way to generate just the one report?
So so that little PDF thing, right? By default, it wants to create a service report per appointment. That's what it wants to do. But I don't see why you couldn't have a service report at the work order level and not at the work order line item level. So if you have 5 people show up for these individual steps, maybe you don't bother creating service reports for the individual steps. You just create the service report for the higher level work order. I don't know if that 100% answers your question, but that's probably the way I would approach it.
Okay. Yeah, that's all the questions we have right now.
Oh, that's it? Just super specific. Okay, well, I'll give folks a second here. But yeah, when you log in, just to make it clear, here's what will happen. When you log into Salesforce, you'll be in the Sales Cloud app, okay? And it will look like this in my demo environment. And there are these tools on the bottom of the page. There's demo guides, and there's resetting your demo. When you turn the demo guide on or off and refresh your page, there's these videos of my recordings kind of everywhere. On the home page, on accounts, on contacts, and I'm just adding videos as I go. But you can have guides on the page, and you can click to reset your demo. When you click reset your demo, I delete everything you've done, for real. So all your appointments, all your work orders, all the cases, everything gets blown out, and then we recreate a perfect, beautiful set of data for you from scratch. And once this resetter is done running, you can essentially run through the whole demo as many times as you like. And I'm just going to wait for this to finish here real fast. But you can see it's creating objects for accounts and contacts, tasks and events, mapping. Salesforce Maps is in here. Territories are in here. And you'll see very quickly FSL. So FSL is done. You get the little data reset worked. And now just switch apps. And I've got a lot of apps that you can play with in this demo environment. But you'll want to go to Field Service Lightning. And when you go to Field Service Lightning, this is when you'll be able to do your own demo and see the Field Service tab or create any of the records you'd like to create. And as long as you log into the mobile app on your phone with the same demo username, when a appointment gets scheduled for you, the field service tech, whatever your name is would show up there. It'll show up on your phone, and it'll all stay in sync. So that's the demo you all get to play with today. All right, Crystal, any other questions before we let folks go?
Yeah.
Ooh,
yep.
Okay. All right.
Let's see here.
Please be a softball. Please be a softball. All right.
Okay, this is from Janet.
Yeah.
On the Service Cloud license, you get a basic field service, like work orders only. Is that add-on the part that includes the scheduling?
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, good question. So when you think about Salesforce, if you had one license of Sales Cloud, you still get cases. You get accounts, contacts, cases, tasks. All right, now let's say you have Service Cloud. Okay, well now you get cases, and now you can do other things like knowledge articles, entitlements, and work orders is one of the standard objects now within Salesforce. So everyone gets work orders. You could just create a work order record, and it would just be a record. But the scheduling, the Gantt chart, the mobile app, that part is what the service resources, the resource territories, the operating hours, all of that comes with the field service add-on. So the work order object you all should have access to, no problem. But then all the logic and automation and things that happen because there's a work order, that's what you get with the other field service licenses. And now, whether you make that available in your customer-facing community, or whether you allow a partner who subcontracts for you to be a dispatcher for their own territories, or whether you have someone who's a tech or an agent or both, all those are just permutations of licenses that allow you to expose this Gantt chart over there or over here. So depending on who needs to access these things, slightly different licenses. But yes, a single Service Cloud license will get you work orders, none of this other scheduling stuff.
Nice. Okay. Servidya is also asking here, let's see. Okay, so she says, while a tech is on site, he may identify leads. Would I need any additional licenses to integrate with leads in Salesforce?
No, and I think I've got, hold on, let me see if I got that. I think I got that. Let me just check that I got that. Hold on. Did I put that in this demo? I could have put it in the demo because it's such a common use case. No, I didn't put it in here. All right. Yes, you can. So if you have access to field service, you can simply let your technicians create a lead, create a contact, create an opportunity. You might even want to let them create a quote while they're out there. Oh, it looks like you could use the large water heater. That's why the small water heater, I don't know. I'm a bad field tech upsell guy. But the idea is if your tech's out there and they see a contact, a lead, a deal, or they should make a quote, those are just other records. They're just records. And so you as the admin can determine, does that person have the right to create those records? And if they do, you can then add the button to the field service app so that they can click it and create contacts, create leads, create tasks. And you don't have to have the tech do all the work. They could simply log a note or make a post for the salesperson to call the customer and make a quote or do something. Short answer, yes. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Let's see here. Nope, no other questions. That's all we have for right now.
Okay.
Mike was asking, will you be doing a follow-up on field service lightning? Will you be digging deeper, taking it to the next step, or where would they go to find kind of more webinars? And we have your handout, sure, but like, are there any other events that they should know about?
So I'm not planning on doing another deeper field service one in the next few weeks or anything. So I might do another field service one that goes deeper. I just haven't you're the first person to ask. Honestly, most people get overwhelmed by the overview. I'm going to get a lot of surveys that are like, Iman went way too fast. So maybe, but I don't believe I'm going to, and there's definitely not one scheduled right now. So I wouldn't hold your breath for me. If I were you, I would go to the community group where there's the link to ask questions there. They've got a ton of resources there. And also we have a page that you should be able to find from that community group of webinars. And there are Ask Expert sessions. So you can go to a Service Cloud Expert session, and I believe they definitely have field service. I'm like 95% sure. I should have checked before this webinar. But I believe they have field service office hours and Ask Expert sessions as well. So immediately I would say go to the community group for field service and look there. That's where they're going to put events, hands-on trainings, webinars. A lot of it's going to be there. And also reach out to your rep. Your rep wants to connect you with all the resources. We literally have an army of teams coming up with events. People just don't know about them. So reach out to your rep, let them know what you're looking for, and let them find something for you.
All right, excellent. Okay, so a follow-up here from Servidya. I think I'm so
As an Iman, I can feel that you're not getting the name right, but what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
I'm hoping she can explain it to me.
She's screaming Iman from her computer right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm trying, but I would love to know how to pronounce that, and I will look it up after.
All right, Crystal, what's up?
Okay, so she's asking here. So she was asking a little bit about the leads, like if. And she was saying, so what if they're in sales and if the sales and the service are on separate orgs?
Oh. Okay. That's odd. It's not that you can't do it. It's not that you can't get information from over there to over there. But now it's not as easy, right? So, all right, field service tech is on site. What do you want them to do? Do you want to fill out a form and have it go to the other place? You could do that. Chances are that little form they fill out either just creates a regular record in Salesforce and then you use Salesforce integration to shoot it to the other system. You could do that. Or the little widget you put on the text app could be a custom form, and that form could just make a call straight to the other system. The lead never even goes into your system, it just goes to the other system. So there's lots of options, but it got harder because you've introduced an integration. So if Salesforce is somehow already integrated to that other system, great, just use that integration. And if it's not, you can build one. And if you don't want to build one, then you can manually move things over. There's even a feature called Salesforce to Salesforce, which is free bi-directional point-and-click integration for one-off things like leads. I think it'd be okay. You should look into that. Salesforce to Salesforce.
Okay, great. All right. Nicole's asking here, is the field service app different than the mobile app used for sales?
Yes. They're two different apps. Yep.
Yeah.
There's a Salesforce app, which can be configured and customized and have a bunch of stuff in it, but the app you saw today was the field service app. Works differently, looks different, separate apps.
All right. That's all we have right now. I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, look, thank you all for coming. I hope this was a good use of your time. I'm going to end this stream, and I would love it if you could please take a second to fill out a survey. Let me know if this was a good use of your time. Let me know if I answered the questions you had coming into it. Let me know if you're interested in that demo. I spent, I don't know, weeks building out the interactive demo that builds territories for all of you. There are, just so you know, about 9,000 territories in my demo environment because each of you get your own. So it was quite the thing to orchestrate. And I would just like to know if that even seems interesting to you. So please take a second, fill out a survey. But thank you for coming. I hope you all have a great weekend. And we'll if that even seems interesting to you. So please take a second, fill out a survey. But thank you for coming. I hope you all have a great weekend. And we'll if that even seems interesting to you. So please take a second, fill out a survey. But thank you for coming. I hope you all have a great weekend. And